As I've already mentioned with the ET200, they've actually got the wrong polarity connector on it. Now the one I want is SMA, but unfortunately, as you can see, it's got the pin in the middle, which is an RP SMA, I think, yes. So I need to put an SMA connector on it, purely because I want to put my I always use Fat Shark antennas. So what I've got to do is I've got to take that connector off. Now this is actually lead free, so what I always do is flood it with normal leaded solder, which is far better, and then you just keep heating it both sides. You get some pliers on there and just gently pull it off, and it does come off. It takes a lot of heat, but it does come off. Hopefully you can see here what I'm doing. So what I've done is I've got some solder already on the two sides. I've put loads of solder on it, and then I've got them on these grips. So then I just gently hold this, and I'm probably going to have to cover the picture here. I need more solder on there. So you hold it, you put some heat on it, and then you go on to the other side. And I'm covering the and it just pops off. And then what you do is you clean this up. Preferably when you're on screen. Now what you have to do, because if you get some solder wick, because this thing won't go on because it's so bloody tight, so that won't, it just won't fit on there now because it's just, there's a bit of solder on there. So if you get some solder wick and just clean the pads up so there's no solder on there at all, and then you solder it. So I'll do that off screen because it's just too bloody hot to do it. So as you can see, I've taken it off and I've cleaned it up with solder wick. Now with solder wick, when you're actually using the stuff, if you find that it's not actually wicking, the strange thing is, and it seems counterproductive or intuitive or whatever, if you use a bit of solder just to start it off with, just dab it with solder, and then you'll find it'll start wicking properly. So now that goes on there, something like that, and I can solder that, and now I've got the proper polarity on there. And we've got blizzards outside. It's Easter, it's supposed to be British summertime now, and we've got blizzards. Hey ho! I've glued the wings on with that. Now all I've got to do is make sure they're actually, yeah, they seem okay. Yeah. So all I've got to do is put the control horns on, move the antennas, put my mounting thing in properly. All the front's all done. It's got the VTX antenna sticking out the top there. I've got to mount the camera on the front there, I think. I hope it'll go there anyway. Although it doesn't, I'm not going to be able to see a lot. So I don't know. I don't know yet. I may move it further down right on the nose. But unfortunately I can't really show you much more of this thing because it's bigger, actually quite big. It's bigger than I thought. So I've still got a lot to do. But it is coming together very well. Well, amongst this mess there is actually a plane somewhere. These decal things, I've tried sticking them down and they ain't having it, so I took them off. Well, I've taken this one off. So I've just covered this with it's basically wing tape. Brilliant stuff. It goes on really easily and it flexes, so I'm going to do it with that instead, but I don't know how much. I might not do it all. Anyway, I've done that bit. Don't know why. I was bored. So, I've got the antennas in, V antennas at 90 degrees. What else have I done? Oh yeah, the front on the... turn that round. So you can see on there I've got the camera which I've sunk into the canopy. The antenna's there. If I take that off, you can see there's the VTX and there's the cable that goes to the camera. I'm quite amazed actually at the field of view that I've got with this camera. I thought all I'd see is just the front piece, but I don't. You only see just a piece, just a tiny bit of it. I'm quite amazed. And that is pointing down, it's not straight, you know. So I've done that, I've tested it, and it does sort of self-stabilise. I've got a lot of tuning to do before it goes to flight. I've also got to finish covering bits and pieces, you know, here and there. I've done the underside of that wing as well. Oh, God, zoom out. So I've done that one. I'm going to take those stickers off because you can't. I was thinking of using some glue on it, but I mean, number one, I don't like yellow, and number two, I don't like the stickers. They look shit. So I want to be different anyway, so I've just done that. There you go. It's nearly done. That goes on there, which I'm not going to pop it down because it just won't bloody come off. Well, it does. It takes a hell of a lot. I'm amazed at the size of this thing. For the price, it's bloody big. So I'm just finishing off. Well, not finishing off. I've got bits and pieces I've got to do to it. I'll take them off. Anyway, back to it, just so you can see the reasoning why I'm taking this off. It won't stay down. I've already tried to stick these down a few times. Now I could use glue on it, but I don't want to use glue. No, it's pretty crap really. I'd rather do without them. Yeah, I've had a bit of a mishap. This speed controller, I found out, believe it or not, is only a 60 amp, I think it is. The size of it, I thought it was 100 amp. But it isn't. It's a 60 amp Emax apparently. Anyway, I've got to get it out, but the only trouble is, I don't know if you can see it. You can see how tight the wires are in there. They're actually soldered directly to the ESC, so I've got to get it out. Now the reason why it went, I'll just explain something to you. See, I've got I got my 4S batteries and I tried it on my 4S batteries and it was delivering, I think it was 1.4 kilo of thrust, which is exactly the spec that Hobby King said. So I thought I'll try a 6S on it because I know the ESC will handle it. So I put a 6S on it and it was generating, was it 2.1? I think it was, no, it might have been 1.9, 2 kilo of thrust. So this at that thrust, this thing's going to really fly. But anyway, I burned the ESC out. Now I know it's burnt out because it starts smoking. Yeah, I know you can't see the smoke, but yeah, it's smoked. So I've got to get that out, and I'm going to put a Turnigy Plus 80 amp in there, which isn't as big, but it's a higher current. So back to the drawing board. I've decided to use the MFD or My Fly Dream Telefly Pro, which is basically just an on-screen display, which is that thing there. Now I also got the GPS, and I also got the current sensor, 100 amp current sensor for it. So what I'm going to do is, instead of having a NAS, I'm not going to bother with a flight controller. I'm just going to have the OSD. It's not an autopilot, it's not anything like that, so I'm going to fit that in there. The ESC is going to fit there, the motor's going to fit there, and then I'm going to use, I think, a D4R2 receiver, which I'm going to fit on top of the Telefly, like that, and have the antennas coming out the side there. So fingers crossed. Obviously the GPS is already fitted in, and that's going to route down there. So I've just got to figure out all this wiring, and that goes to the camera. I hope it better do. Yeah, it does. So I'm going to fit all this in. It's not worth actually showing you any videos of this because it's just going to be total boring crap. I've got to shorten the wires some, you know, make it tidier so as it all fits in, and then my battery can fit here somewhere. So I'm going to do that. Quick tip, I don't know if you can see it, but I've got to heat shrink this current sensor. I can't get it out because I've got to, it won't come out anyway. So what I've done is put the heat shrink around it, and I've got some wet kitchen towel here, just covering all the foam, and that works perfectly. So if you want to put heat shrink anywhere, just protect it with wet kitchen towel, and it does work. Although I can't show you all of it, it's nearly done. I've only got to put some of the wing tape on the ailerons, or elevons, whatever you call them. Finish a few things off. I've also put some on the fins. Don't know why. Thought it'll look good. But it don't look shit. Anyway. So the final product is, we've got a Hobby King Turnigy Plus 80 amp ESC in the back. We've got a D4R2 FreeSky receiver. There's the Telefly from My Fly Dream there underneath. Current sensor, which is 100 amp current sensor. Battery, I don't know which one I'm going to use yet. I think I'm going to go with the 6S on this. GPS. Now one thing, before I finalise this, these clips for the canopy and everything else, I don't know what glue they use, but they keep coming out. So I've used epoxy in them, and I've got to, that's the last one I've got to do that's just popped out. So when that's all done, the canopy's got a Fat Shark 700 TVL on the front with a Fat Shark, an Immersion RC spar in it on the back. There's the VTX. There's the wires going to the camera, and that's done. And that goes on there, like that. Where's the thing? And then we have that goes on the back. Like that. So like I say, unfortunately I can't show you it all because there's not enough room in here, but you know, you get the idea. Where's the EDF? There's the... oh shit. There's... no, can't show you. The EDF's in there. Strangely, that's... oh. It's the only place it'll go, Tony. Dickhead. There you go. There's the EDF. So I don't know what speed this will go. I've tried it on 4S. As you know, I already tried it on 6S, but it smoked the ESC, which was, I think it was 100 amp. So that didn't work. So I've now got an 80 amp, and I think I'm going to have to go with 4S. I don't think it'll, unless I can get another ESC, but I'm skinned, so I can't, so I'm not so tough. If I get enough requests, I will put 6S on it, but I want to try it with 4S first. So there you go, there's the build of the Radjet. I've tested the thrust by putting a set of scales on the nose, on the side sort of thing. Anyway, it's generating just over 2 kilo of thrust. I don't know what speed it's going to go, and I'm scared already. Cause oh dear, why do I do it? Anyway, so that's that done. Now I've got to get back to finishing my FX61. With the Radjet, I know I'm going to have problems launching it. They're very unstable at very slow speeds, but you know, to have reactions to actually stop it from crashing on launch is going to be a nightmare. So, after careful consideration and a couple of recommendations from people, I decided to get my Fly Dream autopilot.